Life, it's a journey, isn't it? A journey filled with twists and turns, ups and downs, moments of joy and periods of struggle. But let me tell you something, my friends, it's in those moments when you feel most alone that you have the greatest opportunity to discover just how strong you truly are. Now, I want you to think about a time when you felt completely isolated. Maybe it was when you were starting a new job, or perhaps when you moved to a new city. Remember that feeling? That pit in your stomach, that voice in your head telling you that you don't belong? Well, I'm here to tell you that voice is a liar. You see, being alone doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When you're alone, you're forced to rely on yourself. You're compelled to dig deep and find resources within you that you never knew existed. And let me tell you, those resources, they're like gold mines waiting to be discovered. I remember a young man I met years ago. Let's call him Tom. Tom had just graduated from college and moved to a big city for his first job. He didn't know a soul in that city. His first few weeks were tough. He'd come home from work, sit in his tiny apartment, and wonder if he'd made a mistake. But you know what Tom did? He didn't give up. He didn't pack his bags and head home. No, Tom decided to embrace his solitude. He started exploring the city on his own. He'd visit museums, try new restaurants, even took up jogging in the local park. And you know what happened? Tom started to grow. He discovered interests he never knew he had. He learned to enjoy his own company. And most importantly, he learned that he was capable of so much more than he ever imagined. Now, some of you might be thinking, that's all well and good, but I'm not Tom. I don't have his courage. And to that, I say, hogwash. You have that courage within you right now. It's there just waiting for you to tap into it. You see, courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. It's about taking that first step, even when your knees are shaking and your heart is pounding. It's about saying yes to life, even when everything inside you is screaming no. Let me share a little secret with you. Every great achiever, every successful person you admire, they've all felt alone at some point. They've all had moments of doubt, moments when they wondered if they were on the right path. But you know what set them apart? They kept going. They used their solitude as fuel for their fire. Think about it. When you're alone, you have the freedom to focus entirely on yourself. You can work on your skills, develop your talents, pursue your passions without any distractions. It's like having a blank canvas and a full palette of colors. The possibilities are endless. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. Being alone can be challenging. There will be days when you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Days when you wish you had someone to share your burdens with. But my friends, those are the days when you need to remind yourself of your strength. You see, strength isn't just about physical power. It's not about how much you can bench press or how fast you can run. True strength comes from within. It's about resilience. It's about getting knocked down 7 times and standing up 8. It's about facing your fears head on and saying, you don't control me. I want you to do something for me right now. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Go ahead, I'll wait. Now I want you to picture yourself 5 years from now. See yourself standing tall, confident, successful. You've achieved your goals. You've overcome your challenges. You're living the life you've always dreamed of. Now open your eyes. That future you just imagined, it's possible. And you know what the best part is? You have everything you need to make it happen right inside you. You might be thinking, but how do I start? How do I tap into this strength you're talking about? Well, my friends, it starts with a decision. A decision to stop seeing your solitude as a weakness and start seeing it as an opportunity. Here's what I want you to do. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, I want you to look in the mirror and say these words, I am strong. I am capable. I am enough. Say it with conviction. Say it like you mean it. Because you are strong. You are capable. And you are most definitely enough. Now, let's talk about action. because all the positive thinking in the world won't amount to a hill of beans if you don't back it up with action. So here's your assignment. I want you to do one thing every day that scares you. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's striking up a conversation with a stranger. Maybe it's trying a new hobby. Maybe it's applying for that job you've always wanted but never thought you were qualified for. Whatever it is, do it. Feel the fear, acknowledge it, and then do it anyway. Because each time you do, you're building your strength. You're proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. And here's the beautiful thing about strength. It compounds. Just like interest in a bank account, the more you use your strength, the more it grows. And before you know it, you'll be tackling challenges that once seemed insurmountable. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what if I fail? What if I put myself out there and fall flat on my face? Well, my friends, let me tell you something about failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success. You see, every successful person you admire has failed, probably more times than you can count. But you know what they did? They learned from their failures. They used them as stepping stones to success. I remember a time in my own life when I felt like a complete failure. I had invested everything I had into a business venture and it went belly up. I lost it all. I felt alone, scared, and completely defeated. But you know what? That failure turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. It forced me to reevaluate my life. It made me dig deep and discover strengths I never knew I had. And most importantly, it taught me that I was capable of bouncing back from anything. So I want you to change your relationship with failure. Instead of fearing it, I want you to embrace it. See it for what it really is, a teacher, a tough teacher. Sure, but one of the best you'll ever have. Now, let's talk about persistence. Because being strong, being successful, it's not about never falling down. It's about how quickly you get back up. It's about dusting yourself off and saying, is that all you've got? Persistence is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. It's what turns I wish into I will. And let me tell you, when you combine persistence with the strength you discover in your solitude, you become unstoppable. I want you to think about water for a moment. Soft, flowing water doesn't seem very strong, does it? But given enough time, water can carve through solid rock. It can shape mountains. That's the power of persistence. And that power is within you right now. So when you face obstacles, and you will face obstacles, I want you to be like water. Keep flowing, keep pushing, keep persisting, because eventually those obstacles will give way to your unstoppable force. Now let's address something that I know is on many of your minds, loneliness. Because being alone and being lonely are two very different things. You can be in a room full of people and feel lonely. And you can be completely by yourself and feel perfectly content. The key is learning to enjoy your own company, to become your own best friend. Because when you truly like yourself, when you're comfortable in your own skin, you'll never really be alone. So how do you do that? How do you become your own best friend? Well, it starts with self-respect. Treat yourself the way you'd treat someone you admire. Speak to yourself the way you'd speak to a dear friend. Be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself when you make mistakes. Celebrate your victory. And most importantly, invest in yourself. Read books that expand your mind. Take courses that develop your skills. Pursue hobbies that bring you joy. Because when you invest in yourself, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious. You're saying, I am worth it. I am valuable. I am deserving of good things. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what about relationships? Isn't it important to connect with others? And you're absolutely right. Humans are social creatures. We thrive on connection. But here's the thing. The strongest connections, the most meaningful relationships, they come when you're already strong on your own. When you've developed your own strength, when you've become comfortable with who you are, you attract people who appreciate you for you. You're not looking for someone to complete you because you're already complete. You're looking for someone to share your completeness with. And let me tell you, those are the best kinds of relationships. They're built on mutual respect, on shared values, on genuine appreciation for each other. They're not about need, they're about want. And they're so much stronger for it. So as you're building your strength, as you're embracing your solitude, don't close yourself off from others. Be open to connections. Be willing to reach out. But do it from a place of strength, not desperation. Now, let's talk about purpose. Because strength without direction is like a ship without a rudder. You might have all the power in the world, but if you don't know where you're going, you'll just end up going in circles. So I want you to think about your purpose. What gets you out of bed in the morning? What makes your heart sing? What would you do even if you weren't getting paid for it? Finding your purpose isn't always easy. It might take some soul searching. It might take some trial and error. But let me tell you, when you find it, it's like striking gold. It gives your life meaning. It gives your efforts direction. And most importantly, it gives you the strength to keep going when things get tough. You see, when you're working towards something you truly believe in, something that aligns with your values and your passions, you tap into a wellspring of strength you never knew you had. You find reserves of energy you didn't know existed, because you're not just working for a paycheck, you're working for a purpose. And here's the beautiful thing about purpose. It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to change the world. Your purpose might be to be the best parent you can be. It might be to create beautiful art that brings joy to others. It might be to solve complex problems in your field of work. Whatever it is, embrace it. Let it fuel you. Let it guide you. Now, as we start to wrap up, I want to address something that I know many of you are feeling. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being alone. And I want you to know that it's okay to be afraid. Fear is a natural human emotion. It's hardwired into our brains. But here's the thing about fear. It's often a signpost. It's pointing towards the things we need to do most, the things that will help us grow, the things that will make us stronger. So the next time you feel fear, I want you to thank it. Thank it for showing you where you need to go. And then, my friends, I want you to feel the fear and do it anyway. Because on the other side of fear, that's where the magic happens. That's where growth occurs. That's where you discover just how strong you really are. And remember, every time you face your fears, every time you step out of your comfort zone, you're building your strength. You're expanding your capabilities. You're becoming more of who you were meant to be. So embrace your solitude. Use it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to become stronger. See it not as a burden, but as a gift of time, of focus, of self-discovery. Remember Tom, the young man who moved to the big city? Well, I ran into Tom a few years later, and let me tell you, he was a changed man. He had this confidence about him, this aura of strength. He told me that those early days of solitude were the best thing that ever happened to him. They forced him to grow, to adapt, to become stronger than he ever thought possible. And you know what? The same can be true for you. You have within you right now everything you need to become the person you've always dreamed of being. You have the strength, you have the resilience, you have the courage. So I challenge you, embrace your solitude, to see it not as a weakness, but as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to become stronger than you ever thought possible. Because you may be alone, but my friends, you are strong. You are capable. You are enough. And the world is waiting for you to show just how strong you really are. So go out there, face your fears, pursue your dreams, embrace your solitude, and show the world the incredible strength that lies within you. Because you may be alone, but you are strong. And that strength, it's your superpower. Use it wisely. Use it often, and watch as it transforms not just your life, but the lives of those around you. Remember the oak tree that stands alone in the field? It grows the strongest roots. It weathers the fiercest storms, and it provides shelter for countless others. Be that oak tree. Stand tall, stand strong, and let your strength be an inspiration to all who see you. You may be alone, but you are strong, and that strength will carry you further than you ever dreamed possible. So go forth, my friends. Embrace your solitude, harness your strength, and create the life you've always dreamed of. Because you may be alone, but you are strong. And that strength, it's all you need to conquer the world. Now, let's delve a little deeper into this concept of strength and solitude. You see, throughout history, some of the greatest achievements, the most profound discoveries, the most beautiful works of art, they've all come from individuals who weren't afraid to stand alone. Think about it. Isaac Newton developed his theory of gravity while in isolation during the Great Plague. Beethoven composed some of his most beautiful symphonies after he had gone completely deaf. Van Gogh created his most famous paintings while he was alone in an asylum. These individuals didn't let their solitude defeat them. They used it as a crucible to forge their greatness, and you can do the same. You see, when you're alone, you have the opportunity to listen to your own voice, to hear your own thoughts, to understand your own desires. In a world that's constantly bombarding us with noise, with opinions, with distractions, this is a rare and precious gift. So I want you to make the most of your solitude. Use it as a time for self-reflection. Ask yourself the hard questions. What do you really want out of life? What are your core values? What kind of person do you want to become? And then, my friends, I want you to start taking steps towards becoming that person. Because here's the truth. The person you are when you're alone is the person you truly are. So make sure that person is someone you're proud to be. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but I'm not good at being alone. I get bored. I get restless. And to that, I say, good. Use that restlessness. Channel it into productivity. Use it as fuel for your personal. Start a journal. Write down your thoughts, your dreams, your fears. Read books that challenge your thinking. Learn a new skill. Start that project you've been putting off. Because when you're productive in your solitude, you're not just passing time. You're investing in yourself. And let me tell you, there's no better investment you can make. Because when you invest in yourself, the returns are limitless. You become more knowledgeable, more skilled, more confident. And that, my friends, is the foundation of true strength. Now let's talk about resilience, because being strong isn't just about feeling good when things are going well. It's about being able to weather the storms of life. It's about being able to stand tall when the winds of adversity are howling around you. And you know what? Solitude is one of the best teachers of resilience, because when you're alone, you learn to rely on yourself. You learn to solve your own problems. You learn to pick yourself up when you fall. I want you to think about a time when you faced a challenge alone. Maybe it was a difficult project at work. Maybe it was a personal crisis. Remember how scared you were at first? How overwhelmed you felt. But then remember how you dug deep, how you found resources within yourself that you didn't even know you had. That, my friends, is resilience. And it's a strength that you can only develop when you're willing to face challenges head-on, even when you're alone. You see, resilience is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And every time you face a challenge alone and overcome it, you're building that resilience muscle. You're becoming stronger, more capable, more confident in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. Now, let's talk about creativity. Because solitude isn't just about survival. It's about thriving. It's about tapping into the wellspring of creativity that exists within each and every one of us. You see, when you're alone, when you're free from the distractions and influences of others, that's when your true creativity can flourish. That's when you can hear the whispers of your own unique voice, your own unique vision. I want you to think about some of the most creative people in history. Writers, artists, inventors, entrepreneurs. So many of them did their best work in solitude, not because they were antisocial, but because they understood the power of being alone with their thoughts, their ideas, their visions. So I challenge you to use your solitude as a springboard for your creativity. Start that novel you've always wanted to write. Paint that picture that's been living in your imagination. Sketch out that business idea you've been mulling over. Because when you're alone, that's when your creativity can truly soar. And here's the beautiful thing about creativity. It's not just about producing art or inventing new gadgets. Creativity is a way of thinking, a way of approaching life. When you cultivate your creativity in solitude, you're developing a skill that will serve you in every area of your life. You'll become a better problem solver, a more innovative thinker, a more interesting person. Now, let's address something that I know many of you struggle with, self-doubt. Because when you're alone, that little voice of self-doubt can sometimes seem very loud. It can tell you that you're not good enough, that you're not capable enough, that you're not strong enough. But my friends, I'm here to tell you that voice is a liar. And the best way to silence that voice? Action. Consistent, persistent action towards your goals. You see, self-doubt thrives in inaction. It grows in the gaps between what you know you should do and what you actually do. But when you take action, when you start moving towards your goals, that's when self-doubt begins to fade away. So I want you to use your solitude as a time for action. Set goals for yourself, daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals. And then, my friends, take action towards those goals every single day. It doesn't matter how small the action is. Maybe it's reading one page of a book. Maybe it's doing one push-up. Maybe it's making one phone call towards your business. The size of the action doesn't matter. What matters is the consistency. Because here's the truth. Success is not about making one big leap. It's about taking small steps consistently over time. It's about the compound effect of daily disciplines. And when you're alone, you have the perfect opportunity to develop those daily disciplines. You have the time, the space, the freedom to work on yourself, to improve yourself, to become the best version of yourself. Now, let's talk about mindset. Because at the end of the day, your strength, your resilience, your creativity, they all stem from your mindset. And your mindset is something that you have complete control over, especially when you're alone. You see, when you're alone, you have the opportunity to really examine your thoughts, your beliefs, your attitudes. You have the chance to root out negative thinking patterns and replace them with positive, empowering ones. I want you to start paying attention to your self-talk. What do you say to yourself when you're alone? Are you your own cheerleader or your own worst critic? Because let me tell you, the way you talk to yourself matters. It shapes your reality. So start practicing positive self-talk. Encourage yourself. Believe in yourself. Tell yourself, I am strong. I am capable. I am enough. Say it often. Say it with conviction, because the more you believe it, and the more you believe it, the more it will become your reality. And here's another powerful mindset shift. I want you to start seeing challenges as opportunities. When you're faced with a difficult situation, instead of asking, why me? Ask, what can I learn from this? How can this make me strong? Because every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome, it's all making you stronger. It's all preparing you for bigger and better things. So embrace the challenges, welcome them. See them as the growth opportunities they truly are. Now, let's talk about vision. Because strength without vision is like a ship without a destination. You might have all the power in the world, but if you don't know where you're going, you'll just end up drifting aimlessly. So I want you to use your solitude as a time to clarify your vision. Where do you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years? What kind of life do you want to create for yourself? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? Write it down. Be specific. Be bold. Don't limit yourself based on your current circumstances. Remember, where you are now is not where you have to stay. You have the power to change, to grow, to become more. And once you have that vision, I want you to think about it every single day. Visualize it. Feel it, believe in it with every fiber of your being. Because when you have a clear vision, when you know exactly what you're working towards, that's when your strength really comes into play. That's when you can channel all your energy, all your creativity, all your resilience towards making that vision a reality. Now, as we start to wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Your solitude, your aloneness, it's not a weakness. It's not something to be feared or avoided. It's a gift. It's an opportunity. It's a chance for you to discover just how strong you really are. So embrace it, use it, make the most of it. Because the strength you develop in solitude, that's a strength that will serve you for the rest of your life. It's a strength that will help you weather any storm, overcome any obstacle. Remember the oak tree that stands alone in the field. It doesn't just survive, it thrives. It grows tall and strong. Its roots deep and wide. And when the storms come, it stands firm. It might bend, but it doesn't break. Be that oak tree. Use your solitude to grow strong roots, to develop unshakable strength, to become the person you were always meant to be. Because you may be alone, but you are strong. You are capable. You are enough. And the world is waiting for you to show just how strong you really are. So go forth, my friends. Embrace your solitude. Harness your strength and create the life you've always dreamed of. Because you may be alone, but you are strong. And that strength, it's all you need to conquer the world.